Tell me a bit about Professional Properties.
Professional Properties started back in 1999. It was originally a franchised business that started in Newcastle. I was working for a local estate agent at the time called Ashley Adams. They took the franchise of Professional Properties at the time, outgrew the franchisor very quickly. Ashley Adams bought the rights, if you like, or bought it as a private company. Susan was brought in to run it. It got bigger and bigger, and we made a sort of offer to buy the shares from Ashley Adams back in 2007. So now, or from that point, we owned it completely.
Okay, let's roll the clock back. So Susan, you were working for Professional Properties. What were you doing at that time?
Everything.
Everything. You kind of ran the show, did you?
Yeah, it was in a little bit of a mess to start off with. There was lots of complaints. Customer service was appalling.
What year was this then?
1999.
1999.
Yeah, with a 15-month-old child.
Had you ever done lettings before?
Never.
So what the hell did you want to go into lettings for?
I didn't.
So come on,
my background's accounts. That's
Okay.
what I'd done ever since I left school. And was really all I knew, but I'd been brought in to oversee the financial buyout side part of it.
Yep.
And whilst I was immersed in it all, I just sort of took over because it's naturally what I tend to do.
Oh, good stuff.
So, but the staff were lying to landlords, which just the whole trust thing was broken down. There was a pile of files on a desk of complaints that I had to deal with.
And how did that make you feel at the time?
I was literally taking phones out of people's hands. I wasn't there to do that. I was literally taking the phones out of people's hands, dealing with the issue, listening to what the person had got to say on the phone, and actually then dealing with the issues. And
so you were brought in to sort the money out. You heard what the staff were saying, and you thought to yourself, hold on, they're telling porky pies here. And you kind of, because the sort of person you are, you grabbed them by the cuffs of the, and said, come on, sort yourself out.
what we're doing, yeah.
And how did they react to that when you were kind of, you weren't brought in to do this, but you were almost sorting them out?
Well, the staff that they got in there at the time were quite young and had been left to their own devices a little bit. And as Darren said, it had grown. They only got 8 to manage properties, but it wasn't what they were expecting. So the staff were inexperienced, didn't really know what they were doing, didn't really know how to talk to people properly, and that's half of the battle. So
I think as well at the time there was 5 agents,
yeah.
five letting agents. It wasn't a big thing in Derby. Dread to think how many there are now. So the sort of service, to a degree, wasn't of paramount importance because everybody was probably as good or bad as each other. So you sort of
walking in off the street.
Well, yeah, you sort of went with the flow, and it was only when obviously Susan got involved where the sort of a bit more professionalism and a bit more the standards of the customer service we started implementing more and more, and it sort of started from there.
So you were still under the ownership of Ashley Adams at this point. At what point did they kind of move into the fact that you were kind of wanting to take over?
Well, when they offered me a job and I refused to take because my daughter's 19 now, or our daughter's 19. It wasn't worth it. I wasn't going to invest because I invest everything myself into everything I do. So they actually gave me 20% of the shares at that stage to actually go to work for them.
To stay.
To do it. So that's where it started. And then as time went on, they were looking for to do other things with Ashley Adams and other business interests they'd got.
Well, if you remember at the time, the housing market was going mad.
What year was this?
This was probably around 2005, sort of 6, a couple of years before it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the focus then was on house sales. Lettings took a back seat, and then it was probably the right opportunity for us, timing wise. It just fell right, and we were confident that we could grow it. So we probably got in at the best possible time when the focus for them was on other things.
What? So did you approach them, or did they approach you, or was it kind of a mutual thing?
It was kind of a mutual thing. Are you interested? Well, let's have a chat. Yes, we are. And it sort of moved on from there, and we came to a deal.